Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Did you know you made the ESPN Monday Night Football telecast last night?
What'd I do?
I know you got the sound turned down.
Yeah.
They were showing dusty old footage of the last time Tom Brady lost 3 straight games, and it happened to be to your Denver Broncos. And the first highlight shocked me because it was Brian Greasy throwing a pass to the back of the end zone to good old number 84. Do you remember this game?
I do remember 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was going to get the highlight this morning, but your ego's big enough, and I said, nah, let's just go.
Oh,
Okay.
man, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that with me. I got to go pull that clip.
Once upon a time, you did play football.
Yeah, I was all right, Skip.
Yeah.
I was okay.
Yeah.
Now, we'll get to that game in a bit, but let's start with some Lakers, because after being ejected against the Pistons, LeBron received a 1-game suspension yesterday for recklessly hitting Isaiah Stewart. The Lakers will have to play without the King tonight as they take on the Knicks at MSG. Shannon, yesterday, you said he should not have been suspended. Does this change your view of the incident?
No, because I still don't believe that he should be suspended. I disagree with the ruling, Skip. I don't believe he intentionally hit him in the face. And talking to my friends, they were like, Sharpe, you know, sometimes you can have a dirty play and the player not be dirty.
Okay, that's fair. I'll buy that.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And they said, man, you need to look at it from this point. I don't believe LeBron is dirty either, but that was a dirty play. I was like, oh, okay, bro, I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change mine. But this is what I will feel. Skip, I feel very comfortable saying this. I believe had Isaiah Stewart not reacted the way he did, I don't believe either player would have been suspended. I think it was the reaction because it says LeBron caused an incident. So I believe had Isaiah Stewart like, damn, bro, I can't believe you did that. LeBron explained the situation, bro, because it's being reported that LeBron did try to get his phone number, did try to reach out to him and say, bro, I apologize. That was not my intent. We were hand fighting. I'm trying to get your hands off me. You're trying to get position. I'm trying to jockey for position. And I accidentally got up too high and I hit you in the face. I apologize. So that was reported. Shams reported that that was the case. So for me, Skip, I don't believe LeBron would have been suspended had Isaiah Stewart reacted the way he did. Once he took it to that level, you know, and they said he recklessly. Well, Skip, anybody that hits somebody upside the head, anytime you go above the neck and shoulder area, that could be deemed reckless. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to legislate intent. They're saying, we believe LeBron James intentionally hit this man in his face.
They are saying that.
That's what
absolutely.
Right. So because anytime you get a flagrant 2, Skip, it could be, it's reckless. That's why you gave it a flagrant 2.
But it could be accidental or not accidental. If it's flagrant 2, it could go either way during the game.
But how about this?
But you're not going to get suspended unless they think it was not an accident.
Right, and that's my point. Because reckless is reckless whether you intended to do it or not. The term reckless means you were reckless.
Okay.
So for me, Skip, it doesn't change my view on this situation. I don't think LeBron James should have been suspended, given his history. Had he had a history, had this be a reoccurring theme, but I get it, Skip. I guess the NBA saying we have to judge each incident on its individual merit. Yes, he doesn't have a history, but this rose to the level of so egregious that we have no choice. Isaiah Stewart, what he did, I knew he was going to get suspended because he didn't leave the court in a timely manner. And they always say that such and such got suspended 1 game because he didn't leave the court in a timely manner. So I knew Stewart. I'm a little surprised that LeBron got suspended, but it doesn't change my view of the situation.
Okay. I told you and Chris Broussard again and again and again and again in yesterday's show should be suspended. I said for 2 games and that Isaiah should get 3 games.
Right.
And it wound up 1 to 2. And I would like to say, first of all, hooray for the NBA. I dared them to go ahead and suspend the King ahead of his one and only visit to the Mecca of basketball, Madison Square Garden tonight versus Knicks. A lot of mad fans because this was big of the NBA to do, but I believe they felt backed completely into the corner because I believe they saw this play exactly the way I saw this play. So they effectively had to cut off their nose to spite their face just to maintain their credibility that we are not going to back down to the king. We don't care about the reports that to me, it was just a PR play or ploy, that it got leaked to Shams, that LeBron did try to find his number to call him and apologize. Again, they were attempting to derail any possible suspension, and the NBA said, we don't care. The act was the act.
Can I ask you a question? Could LeBron be serious? Could he have good intention of reaching out? Why is it always we automatically assume that somebody's doing this is all because of PR?
Although, knowing LeBron and his power in this league, if he wanted Isaiah Stewart's phone number, I think he could get it in about 32 seconds.
But that's the thing, Skip. Okay. He tried to get the number.
Well, but why didn't he call him? I don't really understand the report. If he tried, then he should have succeeded, right?
Man, I mean, in that situation, like, nah, bro, we don't feel comfortable.
The report was he was looking for the number, searching for the number.
Right.
Okay, whatever. The point is, the NBA said, we don't care. Now, back to what I said yesterday. I'm going to repeat it all. There was nothing accidental about what I saw. It was clearly intentional as I saw it. It was, as Scott Foster, the head referee, said, a hostile act. It was a dirty play by a player who has no reputation for being dirty, but it was a dirty play. It was a cheap shot. LeBron took a look at him. He's looking at him, and he draws back, and he balls or closes his fist, and he leads with his elbow. He fires on him, and I still believe the elbow, it's almost quicker than the eye, catches Isaiah Stewart in the soft tissue above your eye, which is eminently cuttable, as we know from boxing, and he split it open, required 5 stitches, and he continued through with the momentum of the blow, and he caught him with a forearm shiver across the face, and then with the back of the balled fist, he caught him in the mouth.
Right.
It's just a shot to the face. I could talk the rest of the day. We could talk Dr. Freud, Dr. Phil, Dr. Ruth. I don't know what got into LeBron at that moment. Was it just pure frustration? Was the kid just getting on his nerves? He's 20 years of age, and he just plays his tail off, but he plays a little over the edge, over emotionally. And we get all that, and they were down 12 mid-third quarter, and the handwriting was already all over the arena walls. It looked like they were about to go down to another defeat that would have dropped them to 8 and 10.
Well, Skip, this is where I'm going to disagree. The one thing that we've seen over LeBron is that he does not get out of character no matter what the situation. He doesn't do anything. There have been times that LeBron has been down and he could have reacted in a negative manner, and he didn't do that.
I utterly concur. But something snapped. It just took a flashpoint moment, a split second of frustration, and it boiled over, and he lost it for just a split second, and he smacked him good right in the face. And it knocked Isaiah Stewart to the floor. He went down on his knee. And he gathered himself for a second, and he stood up, and he said, you did that to me? And it took a second for it all to sink in. And LeBron's coming up to him like, bro, I didn't mean it. You know, like I did. And again, deep down, I think LeBron was as horrified as Isaiah was shocked. I think LeBron was horrified. I did that? What am I doing? What happened? I just snapped. I gotta try to clean this up.
I think what he did is that he's trying to get his hands off of him. And he, it happens. At the free throw line, there's a lot of jockeying for position. And that's one of the things, Skip, you remember back in the 70s and 80s, guys grabbed the rebounds, and the first thing they do, they put the ball here, and it was clearing space. Now they don't allow you to do that because
you can't throw bows.
They would knock your teeth.
You can't clear out space by throwing bows. You can't, because that's not teeth out.
Dikembe Mutombo was notorious for that.
I got it. So they're jostling, but usually when you're jostling, it's more hand fighting below the neckline. And every once in a while, as you're trying to disengage, as you're trying to go up court, because the free throw had been made, you sort of flail backwards and you accidentally hit said victim in the face. Okay? It's usually with an open hand, and you just smack him accidentally in the mouth or whatever, and I get that. But this didn't have that appearance because he had disengaged, and he looks at him, and he fires on him. That's different to me.
Skip, it was split second. You make it seem like he looked, this Isaiah Stewart.
I'm slowing it way down. But he did look at him, and he did fire on him. Skip. I don't care what you say. If you slow it down and look at it for what it is, that's what happened.
Skip, yes, if you run everything frame by frame, absolutely.
But he pulled it off so quickly. It was pretty slick on LeBron's shot.
Because it was quick.
Yeah.
It was instantaneous.
It was so quick that when I saw the first replay in live action, as I'm watching the Laker telecast here locally on Sunday, it's right in the thick of obviously all the NFL games. I think you were also watching at that point.
Yes.
And the first replay I saw, I couldn't see what had happened. And then all of a sudden, they're talking about it, and they haven't gone to any other views of it.
Right.
And he's quickly ejected, and I'm thinking, what just happened?
Well, Skip, I saw it in real time. I said, LeBron caught him in the face. I can tell the way the guy reacted, Skip. I was like, LeBron caught him up high. Now, I didn't know I didn't know if he caught him with an elbow or his hand or what, but I can tell the way the guy reacted. Because, Skip, a lot of times guys be flopping. But that wasn't a flop. He actually got caught. And I believe, Skip, look, this was dramatic. When you slow it down, you get the dramatic effect. We've all seen that, Gio. When the animal, the predator, is chasing the prey, they slow it down. They give you slow motion, frame by frame, and it gets so dramatic. But in actuality, it's happening a lot faster than that. I believe Skip, it was a split second. Well, if you slow it frame by frame, 1,000th of a second, yeah, you're going to get that like LeBron actually looked. But it was like all in one motion. But when you slow it down, it looks like LeBron is like.
Okay, but what did Scott Foster do? He took one look. I'm telling you, this was inside of a minute. He said, hostile act, you are ejected.
Yes.
LeBron James is ejected for only the second time in his career. I was shocked by that until I got to see the slow-mo of that one, especially the overhead just shows it. And he cold-cocked him.
Yeah.
And he split his eye open, and he bloodied his mouth a little bit, and so he got him good. So here's my point about reputation. I don't care if Mother Teresa is out there playing. If she suddenly loses it for a second and smacks somebody in the face, she's gone and she's suspended.
Skip,
I don't care. She has no history of this.
Skip, he didn't lose it. Skip, they're fighting for position. And the thing is, you say it's a made basket. Well, if it's a made basket, why is Isaiah Stewart fighting for position? You said LeBron James should have been fighting for position on the main basket.
You're fighting until it swishes, and then you give it up.
Okay,
right?
But that's what happens, Skip. They're fighting till it swishes.
And what's funny, it was a 2-on-1 fight because Melo's down low.
Well, I think DeAndre Jordan is on the it's DeAndre Jordan, Stewart, LeBron.
Melo fighting with him.
On the other side.
Okay, Melo's on the other side. But they've got, it's like a 2v1 thing where he's boxed in the middle, right? Okay.
And see, the thing is, he has one hand on DJ's back, and he's trying to hold LeBron off. And LeBron's like, bro, get off me. And it's just like, Skip, it's just like, bro, get up.
No,
and you caught him just like that.
It didn't come across like that to me. He had a split second of premeditation where you look and you fire. It's like your friends tried to tell you, not a dirty player, but a dirty play from not a dirty player.
Right.
It's just a dirty play. It's one that anybody else, if his name is Joe James, you're just going to suspend him for at least a game.
Let me ask you a question. If it's any other player, is Isaiah Stewart having that same reaction? I think it's because it was LeBron James and because LeBron doesn't have a history. He's like, oh, bro, because you X, Y, Z in this league, and here I am a young and up-and-comer, you think you can do this to me?
If it's any other player, I think that Isaiah swings on him immediately. That's what I think, because Isaiah Stewart boxed competitively when he was in high school. So I think he's got some bad intentions in him. I think he's skilled with his fists, and I think he would be quick with his fists. And if you did that to him, I think he would retaliate immediately. But you said, why didn't he retaliate when they went face-to-face for a second?
Nobody tried to lose that kind of money.
Because he was dumbfounded that LeBron James, the face of the league, just did that to me. And again, he grew up probably loving LeBron, or at least looking up to LeBron. I don't know if he loved him or not.
Right.
But he's looking him right in the face like, wait a second, you have no reputation for that? And you just did that to me? And the more it sank in, then he went raging bull. And it took 10 minutes to sort of get a hold of it.
But shouldn't that go to it, Skip? Character, reputation has a lot to do with it. He has no history. He has no reputation of doing said incident. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, this happens. I mean, we've never seen LeBron do anything like this.
But he did it.
Skip, I'm not denying that it happened.
Okay.
But what you're trying to say is that he intentionally did it.
I definitely think
this is where you and I separate.
Okay, well, the league is on my side.
Yeah, but the league is. I don't know necessarily if you want to always be with the league, because I know another guy that got suspended. So we're going to talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But I disagree with this suspension, given the fact of his history. There is no history of this, and I believe it was accidental. That doesn't do it. Isaiah Stewart still has 5 to 8 stitches, whether it was intentional or accidental. The stitches are legit. Those are real. And so the guy that caused those stitches are LeBron James. I believe he should have been ejected. If they gave him a $100,000 fine, just like they did where they suspended Yoke, because they said Yoke had time to think about what he was going to do, and he shoved him in the back. They gave him a flagrant 2, and they suspended him for the next game. But for me, nah, given LeBron's history, and I believe it was accidental, it still doesn't excuse the act. I don't think he should have been suspended.
All right. I definitely do. And my final thought on this is, I wonder if all those Lakers who, after that game on Sunday evening, gloated about how they had turned their season around, inspired by the fact that Isaiah Stewart wrongly went after LeBron James, and they had to defend their man against the raging bull who was Isaiah Stewart, the out-of-control maniac who was Isaiah Stewart. Quote after quote, we're going to talk about some of them later from Carmelo, but Frank Vogel saying this is the kind of incident that's the flashpoint you look back on, it turned our season around. I wonder if they feel differently now that they have been able to let this sink in. He just got suspended for the incident that we looked on as a big positive for us. Well, so you got inspired by LeBron's cheap shot?
Well, whatever the case may be, that's my teammate. And we're going to ride with it.
Okay, I got that.
I don't care. We're going to ride with my teammate. That's not going to, whatever y'all thought was going to go down, that's not happening if I'm on that team. All the teams that I've been on, be it high school, be it college, be it the NFL, he might have been wrong. I don't believe LeBron James intentionally did it. But ain't nobody firing on nobody. That ain't going to go down like that.
I wonder if some of those guys took second, third, fifth, eighth, ninth looks at that and said, you know what? LeBron just took a shot and got him right in the face.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder if they felt worse about it instead of better about it.
They did not. They did not because it was accidental. Nobody on that team believes that LeBron James did that intentionally, that he deliberately says, you know what? Okay, I got you. We've been fighting the whole game. I got something for you. It's not like a situation.
So you think they all think that the NBA wrongly suspended their man LeBron?
Yes.
Okay, I don't believe that.
Yes.
There's too much high IQ in that locker room.
Skip, it can be high IQ and believe it was an accident and to believe that it didn't warrant a suspension. Skip, we've seen situations where guys keep doing things and then later in the ball game, a guy sets a hard foul and they get up out of here. Skip, that wasn't that. I don't even know if it had any contact prior to that situation in the game. I mean, I'd have to go back and rewatch the game and see if LeBron beat him to the basket or he boxed out LeBron or LeBron boxed him out. I think LeBron only had 1 rebound, so it wasn't like they'd been battling for rebounds the entire day, Skip. So for me, I do not believe that LeBron teammates believe he did that intentionally and believe that it rose to the level without intent that he should have been suspended.
All I know is you can add me to your list of friends who said, not a dirty player, but a dirty play by not a dirty player. It's pretty simple.
But the mere fact,
you go.
Guess what? The mere fact that they sided with you, they might not be my friends any longer.
Really?
Yeah, that might be a possibility.
Well, it looks like I'm not your friend anymore, right?
No mercy.
Here is a heads up that Undisputed will be live at our usual time this Thanksgiving Day. We'll be giving predictions for Dak and Zeke as the Cowboys look to eat in their annual game, plus previews of all the Thanksgiving action, including Bears-Lions on Fox. That's our usual time of 9:30 a.m. Eastern this Thursday, right here on FS1. After a 2-game skid, Tampa Bay bounced back last night with a 30-10 win over the New York Giants. Tom Brady threw for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Afterward, TB12 was cautiously optimistic about the Bucs moving forward, saying, quote, "We're at a decent point, but we can play a lot better than we've played, hoping our best football is ahead of us." So, Shannon, is Tom Brady the MVP?
No. And why should he be the MVP? I mean, what are we basing this on? Because he has big numbers. He's throwing the ball more. He's averaging 42 pass attempts per game. That would be if he continue on this pace for the rest of the season, Skip, that would be the 6th most all time. He's 11th in completion percentage and yards per attempt. he's throwing 10 more passes a game than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had one bad game. That was opening. Now, Tom Brady, he didn't play well against, now he did win against the Patriots, but he only scored 19 points, completed 51% of his passes. He lost to the Saints and Trevor Siemian, and he threw 2 picks. He lost to Taylor Heineke.
You can call him Tyler.
No, Taylor Heineke, and he threw 2 more picks. If I look at Aaron Rodgers' resume is better than Brady's, because on a short week, on a Thursday night, he went to Arizona without his 3 top receivers, 2 top offensive linemen, 3 top defensive players, and he beat Kyler Murray in his own building. That's what he's done. He has a better record. And the last I checked, Aaron Rodgers has 21 touchdowns, 4 picks. He has 4 total turnovers. Tom Brady has how many total turnovers, Skip? More than 4. So for me, I want to put another guy into the ring, Skip. And I'm not so sure he might not be leading on a lot of people, because he's run them back into playoff contention. And that's Jonathan Taylor.
He is the flavor of the month.
Skip, he's been sensational. And with the job that he did on Buffalo, and they came within a hair's whisker, Skip, of having a better record, because they really probably should have beat Baltimore. Had them down 14 at one point, and Lamar Jackson put on that Superman cape, and they won that game. So right now, I would put Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Rodgers in front of Tom Brady for the MVP.
Okay. Before I shred every argument you just made,
go ahead.
Would you allow me a quick aside to all the kids out there who watched that game last night?
Yes.
I'm talking about kids like from 5 to 10 years of age. I just want to remind them how fortunate they are, how blessed they are to get to watch the GOAT, the all-time greatest quarterback in the history of this league, at age 44, playing like he's 24.
Yes.
It's never happened in the history of sports to this degree, to where you'll actually, if you're between age 5 and 10, you'll be able to tell your grandkid, maybe your great-grandchildren, I saw Tom Brady at his greatest, and he was 44 years of age, right?
Yes.
It's never happened, because I look back on all the great quarterbacks I hear about way before my time, Bobby Lane and Sid Luckman and Sammy Baugh.
Yeah.
I don't know what I have no idea what they look like. They may have been really great, but I did not get to see any of them play.
But here's the thing, Skip. The rules prohibited them. The way they attack. Skip, they've legislated physicality out of it. They've made it basically a talent pool game where a skill on skill. There's no more physicality. You know they've legislated physicality out of the game of football. Well, because if Tom Brady was playing in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, there's no way he's playing. You know that, I know that.
He still takes some shots. He took a couple last night.
Skip, the man got hit twice.
Yeah, he was not happy with either one of them and turned to the ref and had a little conversation about it.
The man had 47, the man had 46 dropbacks.
Okay.
He got sacked no times. He got hit once.
Okay, now let me explain to you why he is, to this moment, the NFL MVP.
Okay.
He is leading the National Football League in touchdown passes with 29. Next on the list is my homeboy.
Yes.
Your boy, 25.
Right.
To 11 interceptions. And that kind of disqualifies
how many interceptions your guy got now?
8.
Okay.
Let's look at maybe 4 of them just off the top of our heads here that even you disqualified. Opening night against Dallas.
Yeah.
He hits Leonard Fournette with a little rainbow right over his head.
Yes.
It just went right off his hands into Dallas.
Diggs.
It was Diggs. That was his first one of the year, right? Then he tries a Hail Mary at the end of the half, and the Hall of Fame great Shannon Sharpe said, that's not his fault. He just threw it up for grabs, and it happened to be grabbed by the Dallas Cowboys. Then remember the Jalen Darden play that B.A., as in Bruce Arians, said, that's Tom's fault? Jalen Darden, the rookie 4th rounder out of North Texas, caught the ball and made a football move with it. It was a fumble, and it definitely wasn't an interception that should be credited to Tom Brady because it was not his fault. And then what did we see last night? If we could see the one interception, quote unquote, that he threw, I have no idea what Mike Evans is seeing. Tyler Johnson was kind of in his way.
He flashed him.
I don't know, but it's just, he just looked away and it hit him right in the numbers. Right. And you have to catch, I think Shannon Sharpe catches that one in his earlobe.
But here's the thing. See, this is what I don't get about you.
Okay, now, I just disqualified half of his interceptions.
Okay, but are you going to disqualify half of Patrick Mahomes? Because that one Sunday, Travis Kelce hit him in the hands.
Well, he's out of this conversation.
But you just said Patrick Mahomes had 25, and you listed his interceptions. But you just tried to give Brady a reprieve from interceptions.
You did not make him a candidate for MVP.
No, but I'm just saying, when you can't use and say, well, his interceptions are caused by someone else, and not make that case for anyone else.
Tom Brady is leading the National Football League in yards passing per game at 318 yards a game.
He's throwing more.
Next is Derek Carr at 304, 318 to 304. Third in QBR is Tom Brady, but it's really close because Matt Stafford is hanging on. They were obviously off last week. He's at 68. And then Justin Herbert, who came on strong, obviously, on Sunday night against Pittsburgh, barely pulled it out, but had a great late throw, is at 67. So it's 68, 67, 66 is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Well, who's at 65.5?
I don't care.
Oh, no, you do. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Okay, thank you for bringing him up. Number one graded quarterback by Pro Football Focus in all the land is Tom Brady. Graded way down. Let me see. Where is Aaron Rodgers? I got to go way down. Oh, he's 13th. So wait, Tom Brady is graded number one by Pro Football Focus. Aaron Rodgers is way down at 13th. And wait a second. In passing yards per game, Aaron Rodgers ranks way down at 12th. 12th?
Yeah.
So Brady's 1 to 12, and then he's graded 1 to 13. Wait, how can you make an MVP case for that guy?
How about this? Have Aaron Rodgers missed a game? He did miss a game.
Okay.
How many more times does Tom Brady throw the ball per game than Aaron Rodgers? Okay. 21 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 29 to 8. One guy has 4 turnovers. The other guy has 10 turnovers.
Did Aaron Rodgers cost his team that game by lying about being immunized?
Your guy cost his team the game against the Saints when he threw those 2 interceptions. He also cost the game against Washington when he threw 2 interceptions.
Scathing against Aaron Rodgers, basically saying he's disqualified from any of these conversations.
No, I did not say that, Skip. No, that's not what I said. I can listen. I'm good enough to do my job. I can take him to task because I disagree with what he did while still giving him credit for what he does on the field. This is an on the field. This is not an off the field issue.
Okay. So that brings us back to the runaway train that is Jonathan Taylor, fantasy football wonder.
Yes.
So what has he done so far? How many touchdowns does he have?
13. Leads the league.
That's leading the league. 13 rush touchdowns. And don't tell me that doesn't have fantasy football players out of their minds, right?
But so is he not good?
I think that's some of the acclaim that's
Skip, the man leads the league in rushing. He's 271 yards clear of everybody.
Okay. Would he be leading the league if Derrick Henry were in the league at this point?
Well, Skip, you can't do that. You can't base it on what if that and this.
Okay, so he's averaging 102 rushing yards per game.
Yes.
It's very good. But he just had 185 against Buffalo. They ran them out of their own building, right? 32 carries for 185 and 4 touchdowns. So he went all the way up from 9 to 13 in one afternoon.
Right.
And suddenly he's the MVP for a team that is now 6-5.
Right.
And at this moment is not even in the playoffs.
But, Skip, we would not even be mentioning them if it wasn't for Jonathan Taylor. And don't look now, but what you call him is 19-2, walking to and wins. Now, guess what happens this weekend? We're going to find out we're going to get some clarity.
I'd say.
We're going to get some clarity, won't we, Skip?
say.
Because who played this weekend?
I think it's Bucs at Colts.
Okay, then.
And guess what?
We get some
Ladies
clarity.
and gentlemen, would you believe that the Bucs are 2.5 to 3-point favorites? It keeps fluctuating back and forth. I think right now it's 2.5.
Right.
But they're actually favored at the Colts? That's shocking to me.
Why is it shocking? You just told me a team. What's their record, Skip?
7-3.
No. I'm talking about
6-5. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Indy?
Yeah.
Indy 6-5.
Okay, so why are we surprised by that?
Well, I don't know. You said he's the MVP, and I think the other guy's the MVP because look at the numbers he's put up. Would you believe, here's a great number for you. Since I know this is a 2-year number, but since joining the Tampa Bay Succaneers, once known as the Succaneers, would you believe in the red zone, Tom Brady is 55 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in the red zone? Are you believing that? He is a touchdown scoring machine in the red zone. Never seen anything like Tom Brady in the red zone.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. Can you believe since last year, Aaron Rodgers is 69 touchdowns to 9 picks? Put Tom Brady numbers in contrast to that.
What happened when they got with all the money?
Ain't nobody know what happened.
All the money. Let's push it to the middle of the table.
See what you go back to?
And what happened?
No. Hold on. Time out.
Biggest choke artist there ever was. NFC Championship games, 1-4 is Aaron Rodgers.
Let me ask you a question.
That should disqualify him for any further discussion of any MVP.
Put the stats up. Aaron Rodgers outplayed Tom Brady. Tom Brady threw 3 picks in the NFC Championship game, Skip. But see what you do.
Won.
See, but okay.
What did Aaron Rodgers do at first and goal
I'm glad you said that.
Yikes.
So who has the better record right now? Who won? Who has the better record?
The better record when?
Now, this season.
Right now?
You do know. You don't do this, Skip. Now all of a sudden, you done did all that stat. You done spent up all night. You stay up all night. You get up early in the morning. You got all these stats, and now you don't know who has the better record between the Packers and the Bucs?
Well, he did cost his team a big game, right? One they should have won. Could have won.
Your guy played and cost them the game. One guy didn't play. Okay, but your guy played, got beat by Trevor Siemian, got beat by Taylor Heineke. That is factual.
Do you know who your guy got his doors blown off by? How about New Orleans and Jacksonville on opening Sunday? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a disaster. It was a nightmare that is way worse than anything Brady has had.
So let me ask you a question. Who's a better quarterback? Jameis Winston, Trevor Siemian, or Taylor Heineke?
I don't know.
Because that guy beat your guy. Beat him. Beat him down.
Kirk Cousins beat your guy on Sunday. Kurt. You got curted.
Hold on. So what was his numbers?
He had a good game. Probably had his best game.
So with Aaron Rodgers playing defense, I'm going to do you like you do me.
Yeah.
Tom Brady can't play defense. So can Aaron Rodgers play defense? I didn't think he could. But go ahead. Carry on. Go ahead.
Tom Brady graded #1 by Pro Football Focus. Aaron Rodgers 13th? Really? How can you justify that?
High yards for it. One guy's throwing jailbreak screen. One guy's throwing smoke screens. How many screens is he going to throw to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
And by the way,
worry about that air distance.
You know what? It's almost like Tom Brady had a Heisman moment just last night in the game. Do you remember the 3rd and 4 play early in the second quarter?
Really, Skip?
This is his Heisman moment because it's like his MVP moment. Can we see that, please?
Really, Skip?
Did you see that this guy's 44 years of age and he said, I got this. Here I go. Look at that. Oh, he made him miss. He made him miss. And he slides. And he goes psycho Tom. He's out of his mind. Let's go. You love that.
Skip.
Woohoo!
Skip, I'm not
They've lost 2 in a row. He said, well, I'll just...
Whoa. No, don't escape past that.
Yeah.
They had lost how many in a row?
Yeah. Not 3, just 2.
What?
And you know what? I think they just took off last night. We're going to do this later as a head-on topic.
Wow.
But I think the Buccaneers just launched their Super Bowl roll last night. Look at this.
They took off on the Giants.
Did you see he made a DB miss?
They made
him miss at 44.
Took off on the Giants.
You believe in that?
Took off on the Giants.
Did you see what Brady said after the game? He was so proud of it that when somebody called it, when the questioner called it a 10-yard run, he corrected him with 11. If we could see the post-game tape of this, please.
How much did you enjoy that 10-yard run? Looked pretty nifty on it.
11-yard run. They don't happen very often, so I do remember how far they go, so that was pretty good.
The truth was he embellished slightly. It was just by the play-by-play,
it was 10-yard run. They go by where you start to slide.
That is correct, but he gave himself 11 because he thought he deserved 11.
Hey, when you don't have very many 10-yard runs in your career.
Yep. But he got one at age 44.
Add a little used to it and sort of grow.
Could that be his Heisman moment?
No.
Could he win the MVP as I predicted he would at 44?
Against the Giants? That's a Heisman moment against the Giants? Against the Giants?
Yeah, I just look at the body of work.
What body?
Well,
where are they?
29 touchdowns. I think they're just poised for takeoff is where they are. They're in perfect position.
So they're the only ones.
And I would not, I always tell you, there's one man in sports you better not bet against.
I bet against him against the Saints.
Oh, you
I bet against him against Washington, and I won.
Are you betting against him in the big picture?
I bet against him and he won.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm going to bet him against him again on Sunday.
But if memory serves, you didn't bet against him before the season started because you picked the Bucs to win the NFC. Am I correct?
That's an evolving door.
Oh, it's
as new information.
Oh, it's not a revolving door. It's an evolving door.
Yeah.
I like that play on words.
Guess what? Because as we gather new information, we know more. In the beginning, we didn't know as much as we did. So now we have new information. I'll give you a new analysis.
Really?
Yeah, check back with me.
And you think the Bucs are just dead in the water?
I didn't think there you go. See, why you go?
Right? Well, that's what you indicated to
I
me.
did not indicate anything, Skip.
He's the MVP, and I'm not going to be shocked if they don't wind up with the #1 seed, the solo #1 seed in the NFC.
Well, hold on. If he's playing so well, he should be the #1 seed right now.
Yep.
No. Pro football. So the guy that's graded #1, why isn't he the #1 seed?
Well, their defense has been decimated.
Hold on.
Decimated.
Any more? Have their defense?
Guess what? Murphy Bunting was back last night and it started to look different. Vita Vea, they said, I thought he was gone for the year. They said, no, check that.
Skip.
He will be back next Sunday at Indy.
How about this, Skip? Look, against the Giants and that offensive line. We're going to talk about that. But, Skip, come on now. Really?
Yep, really.
You feel good with that?
I felt great with it last year, and I feel better about it this year.
So they're going to take off. They ain't got the best record. The guy that has the best.
Perfect position.
So who else is in a perfect position besides Tampa? Is Green Bay not in a perfect position? Are the Cardinals now? Kyler Murray kind of hurt his MVP chances by being out, and they still won 2 of the 3 games. So I think had he played, they won the same games. Kyler Murray would be in this discussion. I think Lamar Jackson was very much in the discussion until he missed a game, and they won without him. So for me right now, look, I think Stafford is not done just yet either. He still has a lot to say.
Well, he's got a shot against Aaron Rodgers this Sunday.
So it's going to be, Skip, it's going to be very interesting how this thing plays out. What, we got 7 games left? It's going to be a sprint to the finish.
Well, at the pole position is the 44-year-old.
That's debatable. But hold on. I just remember just a week or 2 ago, you were talking about somebody else was in the MVP discussion. You care to mention his name again?
Nope.
You were just talking about it. I got 2 guys, my team, my guys. I ain't heard you mention the man's name in a day and a half.
Well, just hold on one more topic, and you'll hear me mention it a whole lot.
I don't even know who you talking about. I just throw that out there. I don't know who you talking about.
He's #4 in metallic blue.
Won 13-10 against the Lions, but Baker Mayfield struggled with 176 passing yards and 2 interceptions. At one point, Cleveland fans were booing Baker. After not talking to the media on Sunday, the 26-year-old spoke yesterday saying he didn't care about the booing, admitting he played like crap and adding the only opinion that matters are those of his teammates. So, Shannon, did you like what Baker said?
No.
Or do you have a problem?
I don't like what he said, Skip, and he's lying. When you go on the road and you're a good player, you expect to get booed. But, Skip, why do you want home field advantage? In every sport, Skip, what they talk about? I want home cooking. I want my fans. Skip, when the opposing team, you come out at home, and if they boo the opposing team, you expect that. When they boo you, they're telling you you stink. You are terrible. And the Cleveland Browns, the one thing I know, Skip, I played when they were in Cleveland, the old, I think it was Municipal Stadium. I think that's where they played at.
It was.
Skip, and when they this new stadium,
the baseball stadium.
And Bree. I've been there.
So have I.
The Cleveland Browns fans have been loyal to a fault. When Cleveland haven't given them anything to cheer for, they showed up.
True.
When they went for 1-31 over a 2-year span, they showed up. And now this joker stinking it up. But I want y'all to blame Odell, because what you didn't do when Odell was out there, you didn't mention his labrum, you didn't mention his knee, you didn't mention his foot, you didn't mention his shoulder. Now that Odell isn't there and you don't have that crutch to lean on, you blame everything else. It's him. 10 hitters, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks. You go back, and all you want to do is talk about the last 11 games. If I didn't know better, I swear Baker Mayfield was a first-year player, because all you mentioned was 11 games last year. You don't mention what he did.
But you don't mention those 11 games last year because you went real quiet for 11 weeks. That's hard for Shannon Sharpe to do, just to swallow it for 11 weeks in a row. You got me.
How long has Baker been in the league?
4 years.
Okay, so 4 years. So you go 11 games in year 3, and you don't mention anything about year 1 and 2, and you ain't said nothing about now. Now you don't have that crutch, which is Odell. I want to know what you and others like you are going to blame on Baker's flaw. Now let me tell you what Kirk Cousins did in Stefanski's offense. In 2018, he threw for 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Was Odell there?
Hold on.
No.
This is what he did in 2019. 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, win 25, and miss the playoffs. When does Baker Mayfield come close to putting up those numbers? And they got a better offensive line and a better running game than what they got in Minnesota. As soon as you and others like you that watch
there's nobody like me.
Yeah, others like you that prop up Baker Mayfield, as soon as you realize he's average, he's average. There's nothing about him that's elite. The only elite that's in his name is in Baker and in Mayfield. That was the only E's. And you can't spell elite with that. So let me tell you this. That's what it is. It hurts him that my fan, man, if I go home and my family comes, I look at the people that are in Denver or in Baltimore, that was my family. My go home and my family boo me. They tell me I stink. That hurts. But that's Baker. He wants to make y'all think that he's in charge. He ain't in charge. You know what? Pretty soon, they're gonna have to make a decision. Those fans are about to turn on him. And I give him one more week. Lose this game to the Ravens and see what they do to you, Baker.
Okay. I thought the Brady hate was thick at this table, but right now, you have just eclipsed your Brady hate with Baker hate. It is so thick up here, I need a visor because it's like coming at me like bugs on the windshield.
He's averaging 1 touchdown a game. For a guy that says he's elite, he's averaging 1 touchdown, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks, 2 fumbles, and 10 games played. That's fact.
I got a whole lot to say about this, and now it's my turn, and it's my floor to take it off. Take it, and I'm going to run with it. I will be the first to admit to you that just when I thought we had seen all of the progressive ads that we could see, last night they dropped another one. Another one. We're almost to Thanksgiving. And I thought, well, that's got to be the whole run for this year, right? There was the Halloween, then there was the left the seat up, then there was the neighbor one, then there was the house sitter one, and all of a sudden there's a Bernie Kosar one of last night. What's the Wi-Fi password in here? Some play call that's some out of the Browns offense. It's XY banana, spider banana or something like that. Oh, Bernie says, I typed that in. They're sitting up in the stands because it's Baker's house, right? Baker Mayfield's house is the name of the progressive ad commercials, right? Well, he got booed in Baker Mayfield's house. The irony was. And now he's spitting back at those fans saying, well, those are the same fans who don't stay quiet while we're on offense.
Really,
so
Skip?
I don't care about them anyway. All right.
You know that's a losing battle.
Now let's go to the much bigger picture that just pushed all of your buttons. I talked to one source last night that's a very good source that's very plugged into the Cleveland Browns, knows a lot of the players. And that source last night told me that this is all about Odell because the players in that locker room, and I think we're talking mostly black players here, just to be specific about it, they are in awe of Odell Beckham Jr., just the way a lot of people are in awe of him. And again, his mystique, his aura is much bigger than his production over the last 4 years. He has been beat up. He's had 3 surgeries in 4 years, but I'm going to leave all that alone right now because he is still on a pedestal. What did we say last night, last week on his sort of Q rating, his overall social
#2 behind
media.
Brady.
Yeah, he's just barely behind Brady. He doesn't have the numbers to show for it in the last 4 years, but it's aura, it's mystique, it's reach, it's power, it's media magnetism. He's got it. And those players, especially those who are a little younger than him, just adore him. They look up to Odell. And my source told me that team is very close to turning on Baker because there's no more Odell. Because even LeBron tweeted, free Odell. And once Odell got freed and goes to the Rams, it was like everybody in the locker room thinks, gee, I wish I could be free. I wish I could get out of here too. So they are turning on Baker because Odell didn't work with Baker. And I think Baker went out of his way to make it work to a fault because I told you from day one, he's way too Odell-centric. He is force-feeding the ball to Odell just the way we saw Matt Stafford try to force-feed early a deep ball to Odell and get it picked off.
Well, maybe those players in the locker room saw Odell go out of his way to try to make it work with Baker Mayfield.
Maybe they don't understand. Maybe both sides are wrong and right. I don't know what happened, but they did not click, even though I know for a fact that Baker and Odell were very sociably friendly because they even went on a little quick vacation together just before the season started up to Montana. There are 4 of them who went, but it was Odell and Baker because they socialized. They broke bread together. Baker socialized even with Odell's father, which is why Baker said, I was blindsided when, remember, Odell Sr. What did he do? Repost that video?
Yeah, he reposted the video of Baker missing it. But what do you expect the father to do? When analyst after analyst blame my son for the shortcomings of a quarterback. I'm not going to keep y'all I know damn well I'm not going to let y'all keep taking shots at Kiara Sharpe, and I'm just going to sit back and take it. That's not going to happen. So I'm right lock and stopping barrel with Odell Beckham Sr. supporting his son.
Okay, so I believe that the day Odell was acquired from the New York Football Giants and came grudgingly, haltingly to Cleveland, where he never embraced the lifestyle in Cleveland. How could he? He's New York and he's L.A. Off-season home in L.A. He belongs in the Big Apple or he belongs in La La. One or the other. It's just where he can function, and where off the field he can obviously maximize his earning power. So we get all that. But the day he was acquired was the day I think Baker was doomed in Cleveland, because it's going to go downhill, and I think Baker's going to need a fresh start to revitalize his career, to go elsewhere. I don't know if it's the Houston Texans or somewhere else. He's going to have to start over because this situation is heading downhill.
Yeah, Skip, why can't you and others see that Baker is just average? It's what the problem is.
Time out. During his rookie year, he was so hot that Shannon Sharpe started driving the bandwagon for Baker Mayfield. You were saying, shake and bake, baby. Remember this? You were saying it. Huh?
Second year.
Second year. Well, whenever it was, there was a time. Okay, good. Second year. That's even better. It's all the way into the second year. And Shannon Sharpe saying, this kid can play.
I thought he could.
Okay. And then what happened? Odell happened. Okay. Well, somebody's right and somebody's wrong, because once he got hurt, I'm not going to win.
No. So either
once he got hurt last year, it was at Cincinnati. Baker took off, and so did the Cleveland Browns. And Baker went, 20 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions over that stretch. And Pro Football Focus graded him the 4th best quarterback in football over the last 11 games, which included a win in a playoff game at Steelers. No small achievement to me. Can Nick Chubb go? Yes, he can go. What is Jonathan Taylor doing for walking to him wins right now? He put him back on the map.
So why can't Baker do that?
We're about to talk about Dak Prescott. Would you believe Dak is just a product of the Cowboy running game this year? When they run, he wins. When they don't run, he loses. So, it's pretty much by the books. You know, they're all like that. They have to have some running game.
So why can't Baker do that? When they got a running game like that. Look at Jimmy G when they run the ball. You look at everybody that's in this West Coast, because everybody is a branch of Stefanski is a branch off this West Coast. Why can't Baker do that? Why can't he do what Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G, and these other quarterbacks in that system do?
You won't give him any break because you got no use for him now, and you're completely unfair to him. He tore his labrum in his left shoulder. He fractured his left shoulder. He now has a badly sprained knee, and he's got a foot injury that has kept him from practicing the last 2 weeks. And you know what they should have done? Stefanski should have sucked it up the way Baker sucked it up and just said, I'm sorry, you can't go. But last Sunday, he was limping through the whole second half of that game. He could barely walk, let alone be mobile enough to escape in the pocket.
Skip, I would have gave him some credit if analysts had mentioned that and not blamed Odell, because they say the reason why he was struggling because of Odell. I didn't hear nobody mention that injury. That's my point. If you want to say Baker's injured, okay, I'll say, okay, you know what?
Well, I've been mentioning it for a month on this show.
But you know others have not. You have, but that was your crutch. That was your crutch. But Odell is gone now. Odell has been removed. The crutch, which is Odell, which you can lean on, that could stand Baker up, it's been removed.
And what happened the first week after Odell was gone? They went as a team that is revolting, mutinying on Baker Mayfield. They went to Cincinnati, where they were a sizable underdog, and they won 41-16, and Baker was really good in that game.
Hold on. You know what I noticed? Nobody mentioned about no mutiny. Ain't nobody mentioned. Baker ain't have no limp. He did not mention this is the most beat up I've been. He didn't mention anything about no labrum or no shoulder. None of the analysts that do this mention that. It's only when he struggles, it goes back to Odell. So what is it? Is it Odell or is he just average?
Okay, has he mentioned Odell one way or the other? No, he has not.
But he got, see, that's what I'm saying. See, just like Odell didn't say anything about Baker not hitting me. That was his dad. Just like Baker had
always tell me, dad speaks for son. That's how it goes.
Yeah, but
right?
I'm saying, just like quarterbacks and their agents can get things out to analysts and they can become their mouthpiece. I'm glad Odell daddy. Y'all not finna keep talking about my son and putting all this blame on me. When you got 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, you got 2 basically Pro Bowl running backs.
Yep.
You got Jarvis who's going to the Pro Bowl every year for the last 3 years.
And he's more beat up than Baker is.
And you got Austin Hooper, and you got Njoku, and you got Bryant, and you got Peoples-Jones, and you got Swartz.
And you don't have Kareem Hunt. Thank you.
Whoa, you got Baker. Why are we mentioning a running back when you got the #1 pick in the draft? Is he what you said he is or isn't he? I just need to know right now.
Okay, when they got blown out in the second game without Odell, they didn't have Chubb or Kareem Hunt.
That's your opportunity to show, Skip, that's how you get the big bucks. When you don't have all your weapons, you win the game. That's how you do that. You see what the Ravens do? They got no Lamar Jackson and they go win. Guys, step up. If he's what you said he is, if he's what those other guys have been saying Baker Mayfield is, he win games like that. But he cannot because you know why? He needs everything to be perfect in order to maximize what he is. He's a guy. He's a guy.
Well, how did the Magic Man go to the Rams and they got blown out on Monday night?
Who?
The Purell, Mr. Purell. His hands work 99.9% of the time.
They lost. They lost, Skip.
He didn't change life in L.A.
We saw them lose very badly to Arizona. Did we not? At home. We saw them lose very badly. We saw them lose at home to the Tennessee Titans. So we've seen teams take L's this year that we wouldn't normally see, like, How did that happen? It happened. But all I'm asking you is this, is that if we're going to be fair, now, I need y'all to mention these injuries when Odell was there. Now that Odell is gone, y'all said it was Odell. Ain't mentioned nothing about the injuries.
Okay.
Now Odell gone, he beat to hell. This is the worst I've ever felt. But let me tell you, Skip, I've been there. I've been in Denver when we was struggling in the mid-90s and they were booing. It hurt because I know I'm laying it all on the line and I'm taking needles in the ankles and in my shoulders and I'm laying it on the line. And y'all booing. Do y'all know what the hell I did to get out here?
That's why he did not speak to the media after the game. He couldn't take it anymore.
Guess what? I stand right before you. Hey, I know we bad. I would boo too. Hell, as a matter of fact, I'm on the sideline. Boo, we suck. We did. But guess what? It's my responsibility as a leader to make sure we stay together and make sure that everybody, hey, look here. Y'all, what he should have done is say, y'all blaming Odell. It's not Odell. That's not what he did. He let Odell take all those arrows. He let Odell take all those blows to keep that heat off him. Now there is no Captain America shield, which is Odell. And now all those arrows are piercing his skin. And it hurts him. I tell you, you will listen to me sooner or later. O'Shea Sharpe talks a lot. But nobody ever says Shannon Sharpe don't know what the hell he's talking about. They say he talks a lot.
Well, I say that occasionally.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And I just won this debate. Go ahead. Alex, take it away.
You won this match. Time out. We have one last what if. We now have to find out if Odell is seriously better than Robert Woods, because I don't think he is, but he's on the hot seat in L.A. He's in Hollywood now, and I got to see, are you better than Robert Woods? Because Robert Woods, unfortunately, is gone.
He's gone. But he had another year. He has another week to learn the offense, get caught up to.
He doesn't need to learn any offense. He runs his own routes.
There you go.
It's magic.
There you go. There you go. Well, I don't know what. Well, they need to let Baker run his own stuff because 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with 2 fumbles in 10 games. That's not it.
Odell's message to the quarterback is just follow me. Follow me. Just watch where I go. Wherever I go, throw it to me.
Okay. So what's Baker's message? So what we did? What did he put on tape on Sunday?
He's in trouble.
A heap of it.
Yep. He's beat all to hell, and the locker room is turning on him. That's what's happening.
You know why? Because the locker room saw how unfairly you criticize and others criticize Odell when they see They see, Skip, you know this. After covering this game for as long as you cover it, you know you can't fool the locker room.
Nope.
The locker room will tell you, everybody that's in that locker room, that's a good guy and that's a jackass. You know that, I know that.
I got that. Odell is seen as a very good guy, and I've told you before, I think he has a good heart. Sometimes his head isn't in the right place, but he's got a good heart. The locker room loves him, but I think they overestimate his worth right now because he's not living up to what he used to be.
And you know what they say? They say Baker is not what y'all portrayed him to be.
All right. Well, that's fine. We're about to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
You got at Baltimore, by Baltimore. There it is.
Yeah.
It's right there on the table. And you're what, a game and a half out of first place? You're in last place, but you're only a game and a half behind Baltimore, right?
Hey, it's like tag team say, whoop, there it is.
Yep.
No mercy.
Dak Prescott failed to throw a touchdown Sunday, and it might be even harder on Thursday, as it appears that neither Amari Cooper nor CeeDee Lamb will be available for their showdown with the Raiders. Cooper is currently on the COVID list, and Lamb missed the second half of the loss to the Chiefs after entering concussion protocol during halftime. So does Dak deserve an excuse or not, having his top two receivers out?
No, absolutely not. Because we've seen Arizona win the game without Kyler Murray and D-Hop. And they won those games with a guy playing quarterback that you have little to no respect for, Colt McCoy.
I like him, but I don't have great
exactly
professional respect for him.
We saw Aaron Rodgers go on a short week to the best team in football at the time. Many believe they still might be. Without his three top receivers, without his two top offensive linemen, without three defensive players, he lost his tight end during the course of the game, and he came away with a victory.
And if A.J. Green had just turned around, we might be having a different conversation. Am I right?
Skip, I'm not going to let you do that.
Thank you.
But did he win the game? Come on now.
Well, Arizona lost the game.
That's Green Bay won the game. We saw Baltimore just won without Lamar Jackson. This is the opportunity for Dak Prescott to win a ball game without everything being perfect. Okay, you might not have CD. You're going to be without Amari. Who knows? Ty Smith may or may not play. But you still got Pollard. You still got Zeke. You still have Schultz. You still have competent receivers. Michael Gallup, Wilson, Noah Brown. You still have guys that can make plays. That's
Malik Turner.
This isn't an excuse for Dak Prescott. Skip, over the last two games, no team in the NFL has given up more points than the Raiders. It's either now or never. If he can't beat the Raiders that are in free fall, and you know they're in free fall, if he can't beat this team with what he has still at his disposal, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, first of all, CeeDee Lamb. We went back and forth yesterday. Could he make it Thursday coming out of protocol?
It's going to probably be close.
It's a big no. Come on. Seriously? 4 days later, you could sort of stretch it to 5, I guess. He's going to pass a concussion protocol with a league doctor, somebody who's blessed by the league, right? Working for the NFL.
I got 2 fingers up. How many fingers I got up, Skip?
Well, yeah. So, what? Are you saying Jerry Jones is going to pass him?
Yeah, Jerry going to be the doctor. Jerry going to tell him he all right.
Doctor a little something?
Jerry going to say he all right.
I will bet you right now, if you want to bet one case on it, there is no way he's going to pass the protocols that are in place for a reason, because it's dangerous business that
it
you're
is,
playing
Skip.
with.
But Skip, you just saw Sunday night, Najee Harris go out after being concussed. The dude caught him flush with an elbow. He's out.
Okay, but he wasn't concussed because he went right in the tent and they did all the tests on him and he was just fine. He was clear-headed.
I saw that arm do this right here.
Okay, did you see CeeDee try to walk off the field at halftime with Jim Maurer, the trainer, kind of holding on to his arm? He's kind of wobbling like he's going to go to the wrong locker room.
At first, Skip, I thought he had like a lower, like he had a groin or something, like he stretched or something. And then when I saw the replay, I saw how hard his head.
Well, it's a whiplash.
Yeah, it banged.
And it's hard ground. It's not concrete based, but it's hard.
But Skip, it's November in Kansas City.
I know. You know what that feels like.
Yeah, and I've actually had that, Skip. I made a tackle against the Tennessee Titans one year in 2000, and my head so hard, and my helmet actually popped off. But we had to go back and get the drive, Skip. We had to go back down and get a touchdown. So
okay.
I didn't even realize my head hit the dirt that hard until I watched the replay when I got home. I was like, damn.
Well, you do have a hard head. That has been proven many times.
There you go. You were just waiting for the opportunity.
My man, Dakota Rain Prescott.
Yes.
I am riding the Dak coaster because it's going way up and way up and way down.
Yes.
And I thought it hit bottom against your Denver Broncos when through the first 3 quarters, he was 6 of 19 for a grand total of 79 yards, and he just flat out stunk. And as I told you then, the $75 million man was worth about 75 cents.
Yes.
And then in the fourth quarter, he went garbage time. He went Dak time. He went empty calorie time because he owns empty calorie time.
He does.
And he throws in the fourth quarter alone. They're down 30-0, and I was happy he got to ride that horse again, get back up on that horse. But he throws for 153 in the fourth quarter alone. 2 touchdowns to Malik Turner, who I hadn't even heard of at that point, and 1 interception. And all of a sudden, his QBR looked okay off that game. It was a 23. I think it was going to be like below 10.
It was going to be below 10, yeah.
So
absolutely.
A little better at 23. And then I said, this is do or die against the Atlanta Falcons, who had just won 27-25 at New Orleans. And what did Dak do? Well, he came out and threw a party on them. But wait a second, his QBR was 94, but they rushed for over 100 yards in that game, 114 yards rushing. And then what happened at Kansas City? Well, they couldn't run the ball at all. They managed 82 total yards.
Are we sure they couldn't run the ball, or they tried not to run the ball?
I thought they would try to slam it down their throat.
Isn't that the same amount of attempts you had in first game of the season against Tampa, didn't you?
Yep, that is correct. It was almost the same ratio, too. So he has a QBR of 10 in that game. And what's my favorite or now least favorite stat? With Dak at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, they are 29-0 when they run it more than they throw it. Well, at Kansas City, they threw it 43 times to only 16 rushes. And it wasn't like the game got out of hand because it was always that 19-9-ish sort of spread, right?
You still is only a 2-possession game.
Right. It wasn't out of control ever. And the defense hung in against my homeboy in ways I did not think were possible.
Yep.
So then I sat back before the show today and I start looking at this and I think, wait a second. The Cowboys have won only 1 game this year in which they did not rush for more than 100 yards. Guess which game that was? At Vikings, featuring Cooper Rush at quarterback. So with Dak Prescott at quarterback, would you believe they're 0-3 when they don't rush for over 100 yards? So they're now 6-3 with Dak, and in all 6 of those games, they went pretty significantly over 100 yards. Is he not a product of the run game? Well, yeah, and I told you earlier in the show, a lot of these quarterbacks are, but he especially is.
Right.
He needs his 100-plus yards. Right. He needs 150. He needs 170. That's when he is at his best, because then he can just play action you to death.
Yep, Skip, but the thing is that you're right. Every quarterback needs a running game. But what set Rodgers and Mahomes and Brady and that top tier is that when they don't have a running game, they still find ways to win those games.
I agree. And I'm going to give you your point about Aaron at Arizona. That's just spectacular. That's what you call figuring out how to win a football game on the road against a very good defense.
Yes.
That's where you say, well, I still got that, and I can still do that, and I still have him.
Right.
And we can still run it a little bit. And if we call this game right, and if I audible correctly, we can keep them a little off balance. But I'm going to have to make a play here or there when I have to make it a little bit with my legs and with my arm talent. And you know and I know there are quarterbacks like Tom Brady who can just say, I'm going to figure this game out.
Yes.
I'm going to go on the road to New Orleans or on the road to Lambeau. I'm just going to figure out. I'm going to feel the game. And I'm going to figure out, I got to make that throw to Scotty Miller at the end of the half on Kevin King. I just got to make that because if we're going to win this game, we got to steal a touchdown at the end of the half, right? Okay. I have not seen my man Dak pull that off consistently. And now you're on, man. Because I told you earlier, Derek Carr is still second in overall yards per game passing at 304 games. So he's averaging more than 300 yards passing. He's got a live arm. He's got some weapons.
Okay. But I don't know if his offensive line is going to be able to hold up.
You're almost certainly correct. I hope you're correct, 100% correct about that, because Micah Parsons has turned into a full-fledged monster of a pass rusher.
He's your best defensive player.
And once Dan Quinn finally said, out of desperation, at Kansas City, he just said, well, I got to put him on the edge. If you want to put his hand down, you put it down. He just stands up and rushes like Von Miller does.
But you know what he did, Skip? He figured this out. Remember against the Chargers,
he did.
Game 2. and he put him on the line of scrimmage and said, son, just go get the quarterback. Don't worry about all this other stuff and dropping in the coverage. Because, Skip, you losing him. He gives you nothing in coverage.
No.
So what? Okay, they go somewhere else with the ball. So what has he done? He's just out there. Go get the quarterback.
You're out-cuting yourself.
Yes,
you're trying to be a little too clever. He's a linebacker. He can run with the backs. Okay, we get it. And what?
Yeah.
The value of that is what?
We're using him as a decoy. So guess what? If he's running down the field, guess what he isn't doing? Get my quarterback.
Marcus Lawrence, who has made Pro Bowls, is still out.
Yes.
And Randy Gregory is still out, who is on course, I thought, to make this year's Pro Bowl. So you're down 2 defensive ends, one a stud, can be a rusher, but a definite run stopper.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of Micah or bust.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm trusting my defense more than I do my offense because Dak is going to have to, in a short week, have to go figure it out against a Raiders team. You watch, they'll show up. They still got some pride. They are still...
They'll show up early, Skip.
Okay, but they're still capable.
Yeah.
Okay, if you do what you did early at Kansas City, you left the whole game on the table. If Dak makes the first throw, if we could see the throw that he missed to Gallup, if you make this throw, I swear to you the game changes. I swear. It feels like a whole different football game because you announce right out of the box, we are here to stay.
Right.
You know, we are legit. We got you. Well, again... If you make it, if you hit him right in stride, I don't know if he's going to score, but he's going to have a 40-yard gain, right?
Yeah, you might should just drill him, Skip, because the guy's down. Just put his head in the hole between the 40 and the 45.
All right, just drill him.
Yeah, you got a 30-yard completion.
You can see that and feel that. I've seen him make that throw before where I say, "Oh, beautiful, way to go."
Right.
You got to come up firing because. Snead, the corner, he falls.
He falls down. Yeah.
Well, it's like, thank you, God.
Yes.
You got a chance to make an opening statement that puts Kansas City on its heels because they're not sure about their defense. And then you have one more chance at the end of the half to make it a football game, to make it a battle. And it's to your best receiver, in my point of view, CeeDee Lamb. And he goes deep and he just... he was covered, number one.
Right.
And number two, this ball is just underthrown.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you just
That's
missed
backpile on. Because, Skip, at the worst case scenario, I want points at the end of the half. Because what you did, Skip, you took the ball. You won the toss. You took the ball. So when Dak overthrew that, Skip, when you take the ball, Skip, you're saying our offense, let's go down the field and get points and put this thought in their head.
Yes.
Boy, they came to play today.
That is correct. And if you make that throw to CeeDee, if you throw a jump ball that he can jump for, well, it could be 16-10 at halftime. Wouldn't you feel a little better about it?
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. And Mahomes comes right out in the second half and opens with an interception.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who knows what could have happened? But your quarterback has to make the play at the moment. And I just showed you 2 that he missed on that could have changed the game and changed the whole season.
Especially on the road. On the road, Skip, that's when it comes. Look, the crowd, I mean, you're going to always have your crowd when you're at home. But when you're on the road, if you can just go down and get opening points.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, the crowd is like,
you turn that sound down a little bit real fast.
Because guess what? They never got the crowd out of the ball game. And you see Terrence Steele, he's late on a snap. They get a couple of procedure starts and things of that nature. You try to take Skip, first of all, and a whole lot of audible and all that. You know, look, you got to take that out. When you play a place like Kansas City, you basically got to go up to the line and say, whatever we call, we running, because you don't want what happens. They're very lucky that Dak didn't turn the ball over when Steele was still in the stands and Frank Clark was 4 steps behind him.
I got it. I'm going to lay it on the line one more time the way I did with Atlanta, and you can laugh at me if you will.
What?
But they have to win this game. This is literally do or die. If they are who I thought they were, if they're even going to win the least, you have to beat the Raiders on Thanksgiving, because if you don't, you go to New Orleans on a Thursday night, it's dicey. That place will be a madhouse. You know that. It'd be like Mardi Gras in that place. They hate the Dallas Cowboys there.
After the last 2 weeks.
Well, I'm saying, I'm with you on your premise of this, but you better win that game. You just better. You can't roller coaster on this.
Well, you got Dak.
Well, do I?
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Oh, so you turn it on Dak now?
What am I supposed to think of 2 of the last 3? Those are all-time stinkers. He played his worst game against the Broncos, and this one wasn't a whole lot better.
It was not a whole lot. Not with 2 picks and a fumble.
And then I look down the road here, and they have to go to Washington, and I wouldn't love them to win that game right now. And then they go to the Giants, and I know the Giants stunk last night, but I don't know. The Giants always play the hell out of them up there.
Now, Philly might be a different story this time around.
And you know what? I'm starting to circle that game. and circling my own wagons in my head because it very well might come down to that game for some marbles on the table. Because Jalen Hurts has got it going.
Yeah, it might.
They have figured out how to use Jalen Hurts correctly.
I don't know, Skip, if it will come down by that point in time. It might not come down to the division, but it might come down to the Eagles needing that game to get into the playoffs. Yep. Because they're looking at like, hold on. We got an outside chance here. Because I think they got the Giants again. They got the football team again. Yep. So they're feeling good with the way how they're playing. That they got a chance like, hey, hold on. We got a chance to make it.
I got it. And let me cap off what I was trying to explain. We still have to play Washington and Arizona at Jerry World. So it doesn't get that much easier.
Oh, and Kyle will be back.
Yeah, and he will be back.
And Edmonds, hold on. Colt McCoy won without D-Hop. Arizona won a game without D-Hop, without Edmonds, without Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. And you mean to tell me Dak Prescott can't win a game at home on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. 7-point favorites.
Well, you better be sure.
You'd think they'd be 14-point favorites.
Well, you better be sure.
I better be sure, because if they're not, I'm sunk.
Well, you won't come in here on Friday.
Yeah, we got.
You better not lose. You better not lose Thursday. In fact, you about to come in here on Friday, and it's going to be peaceful.
My 10-case bet with you will be in some jeopardy on Friday morning.
No mercy.
Thanksgiving Day, the tradition on Fox continues as we come together for food, family, and football when the Bears take on the Lions. Coverage begins with a special edition of the Fox NFL pregame show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, live from New York City, right next to the Thanksgiving Day parade, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Now, after being ejected against the Pistons, LeBron received a one-game suspension yesterday for recklessly hitting Isaiah Stewart. The Lakers will have to play without the King tonight as they take on the Knicks at MSG. Chris Broussard from First Things First joins us now. Chris, yesterday you and Shannon both said he should not have been suspended. So does this change your view of the incident?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't think LeBron should be suspended. And I still feel that way because I don't think his act was intentional. All right, so that's why that was my rationale, that he didn't do it on purpose. And so I thought for something that's an accident, if you get ejected from a game, that's enough of a penalty. And so that's why I thought he shouldn't have got suspended. Now, I do understand why the NBA made this move. They're not in the business of judging intentions. They're just looking at what the end result was, what happened on the floor. We may never know. We probably will never know what LeBron was thinking because obviously he's going to say he didn't mean to do it. So we'll never know what his true intentions were. And so the NBA can't worry about judging that. They just got to go by what happened. And from what I've seen on social media and even people I've been into contact with, not necessarily in the league, but just in general, most of the perception was that LeBron did do it on purpose. I think at least the people I was in touch with, I was in the minority. And so the NBA probably was aware of that perception out there. So it would have been an uproar had Isaiah Stewart gotten a suspension and LeBron doesn't. So I understand it from that perspective as well. And I'll give the NBA some credit because they didn't take into account that the Lakers play at Madison Square Garden tonight on national TV. We all want to see LeBron there. It's one of his last trips to the Garden because obviously now he's in the Western Conference, so he's only going there once a year. So they didn't take that into account. They just laid down their ruling. I think this, though, with Isaiah Stewart, I understand he was the victim. He was the one that got hit. He was the one that had to get 5 stitches and all of that. It's unfortunate. But I think his penalty should have been more harsh than LeBron's, not just 1 game to 2 games, which is what it was, but I think there should have been a 2-game separation. So if LeBron, I said initially LeBron doesn't get suspended, Isaiah gets 2. Now LeBron gets 1 game. I think Isaiah should have got 3 because I can't overstate how important it is for the league to send a message that this just cannot be tolerated. We get it. You got hit. Accidents happen. Things happen. You can easily catch an elbow going for a rebound, and you can't react like this. And so if he had gotten to LeBron, we all heard AD say, we're not going to let anybody run up on our brother like that. If he had gotten to LeBron, somehow it would have been 2 teams going at it. And the fans are very close to the floor. Who knows? I hate to even think what that could have spawned. So they got to send a strong message that under no circumstances will that type of reaction be tolerated. And so that's why I think there should have been a couple game separation between the suspensions.
Well, Chris, you and I are still in alignment. It doesn't change me because I don't believe he should have been suspended either. And looking at the league's announcement, it said the league said he was suspended for recklessly hitting Stewart and initiating an on-court altercation. What did he do? Okay, he hit him. Okay, you say, okay, you want to say he recklessly hit him. Okay, fine. Okay, boom, we will set that aside. Okay, but how did he initiate? What did he do? He didn't run up on Stewart. He didn't break down, come on, let's go, Stewart, let's do this. No. That's not what he did. It was Stewart. Chris, I believe, had Stewart not reacted the way he did, I don't believe either guy would have gotten suspended. I believe they said it was a flagrant 2. LeBron was ejected. Stewart goes and gets stitches. Probably is not coming back. But because of he didn't instigate it, but because he brought it to a boy, he wouldn't let it go. The league well, damn. I'm looking at him like, hold on. Keith Morris runs into the side when Yoke tries to throw a pass. He runs into him. They didn't deem that reckless. They get on Yoke. They suspend Yoke for a game for shoving him in the back. I'm confused, and that's what I'm looking at, Chris. I'm like, hold on. So I can make the case that every flagrant 2, because you said the contact is unnecessary to the neck, head, or shoulder area. So I can make a case that in a flagrant 2, every incident is reckless. So so are you saying, because Chris, you said they didn't want to get in the thing of judging intent, but it seems to me they judged intent, because it seems to me, looking at my vantage point, that they say, LeBron, yeah, we believe you meant to do that. So that's why we're going to give you a game. Because reckless is like, nah, I can't go. Look, they're fighting for position and things happen. If I had never seen a guy catch an elbow at the free throw line or a guy get hit in the head, I was like, you know what, Bron? Yeah, you deserve to go set that thing down. But because we've all seen it, I'm going to disagree. I disagree with the suspension. I believe Stewart, had he not reacted the way he did, neither guy would have gotten suspended.
I tried to tell both you guys yesterday.
You was hoping for this.
I just saw it coming because LeBron James obviously had to be suspended. I said 2 games to Isaiah's 3, and it was 1-2. But he obviously had to be suspended because this was obviously no accident. This was so obviously intentional. It was a dirty play. It was a cheap shot. If you see it one more time, I just needed one clean look at it to see that LeBron drew back as he looked at Isaiah face to face, and he balled his fist, and he fired on him. And it looks to me like his elbow first caught Isaiah in the soft tissue above the eye and cut that. And then as he followed through, it was the basic forearm shiver across the face. And then the back of the balled fist caught Isaiah right in the mouth. And blood was everywhere because he was bleeding from above the eye and the mouth.
Yeah, caught him in the corner.
I'm sorry. He just busted him right in the face. And I don't know why he did it. There was a flashpoint moment of frustration where he just lost it. For one split second, he lost it for the first time in 19 NBA seasons. I know he has no reputation. Obviously, he's not seen as a dirty player. But as Shannon told me earlier in the show, he had a number of friends try to tell him players who aren't dirty can make dirty plays, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he did. And I want to say hooray to the NBA for having the guts to stand up and to validate this on the night that the King plays at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. To Chris's point, the King, LeBron, has often lit it up at MSG. And you just cut off your nose to spite your face a little bit. You just said, well, we have to take action because they would look foolish if they didn't. Their credibility soars to me because they knew they had to do something they did not want to do, suspending for 1 game in his lone visit to the Mecca. Bully for them, bravo for them. And again, I don't disagree with Chris's point. Isaiah lost it. He went raging bull. but he was shell-shocked for a moment because he got blasted in the face, and he dropped to a knee, and he got up, and he looked at LeBron, who's coming toward him like, yo, man, I didn't mean to. You didn't mean to. Right. And it took him a moment to process the fact the face of the league just cold-cocked me.
Yeah.
And once it sank in, once the blood started to flow, he lost it. And I can't condemn him for losing it, but I agree, Chris, with your point, because we obviously can't have another Malice at the Palace, exactly. And you had potential.
Exactly.
It took all the king's horses and all the king's men to finally subdue him, and then he runs down the locker room hall and runs left because he was trying to do the loop to come all the way back around to get LeBron. And you can't tell me that LeBron didn't need some police protection to get out of that arena.
Man, LeBron walked to the locker room by himself.
Did he?
Yeah, sure did.
I bet he walked out of the locker room before the game was over just to get out from under that scenario.
I ain't going nowhere.
Okay, well, whatever. In the end,
I bet they had security in the locker room with Isaiah.
You better believe they did.
Making sure he couldn't get out.
Because that 20-year-old was out of his mind. And I don't blame him.
Oh, go ahead, Skip.
Yeah, I don't blame him, but I'm with you. If you wanted to suspend him for 5 games, I'd be okay with that, just to send a message. We can't have that.
Right.
That's a bad look. I know a lot of people just looked at that. That man's gone crazy.
Because guess what, Chris? They were playing it on everything. Now all of a sudden it's just not on the sports show, Skip. You see it on CNN, you see it on all the shows. And that's what happened with the Malice in the Palace. All of a sudden it didn't become just a sport. It became bigger. Oh. And so the NBA is like, we got to do something.
Okay, but just as shocking to me is that the guy you call the GOAT, he lost it for a second, and he just smashed him right in the face. I'm sorry, that's with intent. No. He wasn't looking away. He wasn't pulling away. He wasn't running away and just threw his hand back open-handed and accidentally hit him in the face.
Accident.
It was not an accident, and I want to thank the NBA for validating me and what I said yesterday.
Well. All right, Skip, first of all, let me say this. Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard in his prime, none of them could make LeBron lose it. But Isaiah Stewart made him lose it? Mm-hmm. I have a hard time believing that. Mm-hmm. And secondly, and I want to ask you this. I want to throw this at you, Skip. If LeBron did it on purpose, he really hit that guy on purpose, don't you think he should have got more than 1 game? No. I mean, if he really hauled back with intent, I'm knocking this dude out. He should have got more than 1 game.
Okay, but remember, the NBA is actually punishing itself to punish the face of its league. And I was amazed they even went to 1 game. They told you we will not stand for that even from him. Even though he has a completely, utterly clean, crystal clean track record, we're not going to take that. And I don't know why he lost it. They were down 12 to the lowly Pistons on a Sunday afternoon.
Exactly.
Well, no, exactly for me. Because I think his frustration just boiled over. They were about to be 8 and 10, and whatever. That kid plays high energy. He plays over emotionally, and I think he just got under LeBron's skin.
How about this here? What have we seen from LeBron when LeBron gets frustrated? You tell me LeBron leaves the game before he don't want to be associated because he's frustrated.
Well, I didn't tell you he did it.
Okay.
At Phoenix last
year. You tell me he goes and sits at the end of the bench.
He did?
Now all of a sudden he gets frustrated. He's going to lash out at some 20-year-old that unless you're a Detroit Pistons fan, you have no earthly idea who he is. Guess what? We weren't going to play anyway. Guess what, Chris? We weren't going to play tonight anyway because Spike Lee don't deserve to see our talents on display since he a Jordan fan. So we were going to take the night off anyway.
So you're saying that LeBron wanted to get suspended?
We were going to take the night off.
No mercy.
After a 2-game skid, Tampa Bay bounced back last night with a 30-10 win over the New York Giants. Tom Brady threw for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Afterward, TB12 was cautiously optimistic about the Bucs moving forward, saying, quote, "We're at a decent point, but we can play a lot better than we've played, hoping our best football is ahead of us." So, Shannon, are the Bucs about to go on another Super Bowl roll?
No, we need to pump the brakes here because I don't know if beating the Giants is what people needed to see to convince them that they're about to go on a run. I thought they were going on a run after the bye week. Because remember, that's what they did last year out of the bye week. So now they lose that game. Oh, they're poised. So they beat a Giants team. Skip, you know me. I don't really like to pull tape. because, you know, I don't really like to embarrass anybody. But I needed to show you this because you say their defense is starting to come to a boil. I pulled a couple of plays last night because I want people to see just how bad the Giants' offensive line is and why it's so hard to evaluate Daniel Jones. I don't think he's really good, but it's really hard to evaluate him and Saquon, why Saquon can't run even though they only gave him 6 carries. Jim, we got this copy. Look at this. Now, Skip, this is a 3-man rush. Skip, that is 3 men with 5 blockers, and Sue gets home. Look at this, Skip. Look at 67. What is that? They got to play. Skip, look at 41. He's wide open. Look at this. Skip, this is a chip. Go back to I want to see this last play. That's Nate Solder. That they played him a king's ransom to play left tackle. Yep. He got so bad they moved him to the right side. Skip, they give him help. And the guy, the backup to the backup, runs him over and gets a sack. Skip, look at this play again. He gets a chip from the back. The guy runs over the right tackle.
What did we see in the playoffs last year? Who had the most hellacious pass rush in pro football? These guys did.
But can we properly evaluate it after the Giants? The offensive line is bad. It's really bad. Skip, I'm not saying that they're not going to be a good team. I think they're going to be right there. Right now, I still believe the Cardinals, fully healthy, is the best team. I'll go Cardinals, Packers, Rams, Bucs, Cowboys.
Well, you got the Bucs way down your list.
I'm just going by what, hey, we ain't talking about no one game. We're not talking about beating a very bad Giants team. There's a good chance that they're going to clean house.
Okay, you finished?
So for me, Skip, look, I don't believe this is the same defense. That was a bad Giants team last night, bad offensive line. They are getting some pieces back. They don't run the football. They don't even really try to run the football. I think what they do, Skip, is that they've turned Leonard Fournette into basically a Christian McCaffrey because he don't really run the football anymore. He does more catching the ball than running the football. But for me, Skip, I don't see what everybody else is seeing, especially. Now, I'm not to say, let's look at the next 3 games. They got the Colts this weekend. Maybe that would be the game that convinced me that, okay, they're poised to take off again. But I'm not ready to say that after watching them beat the Giants because the Giants are a bad football team.
I'm going to quote you from yesterday's show. You said, I do like the Giants on defense. That's what you told me. Okay. Well, maybe after last night you don't, but maybe it's because the GOAT made them look bad to you.
How you going to throw the ball 50 times and get hit once? Not a sack. You got knocked down once. Come on, Skip.
Okay, I'm going off what my eye test told me about last night, and I saw liftoff for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on both sides of the ball because they are still, as we speak, as bad as they've been on offense. Would you believe that they're number 1 in points scored so far this year? They're number 1 in points scored. Their Pro Football Focus grades them number 1 in pass offense and number 2 in pass blocking. So I give you that. They can really protect him. And if they do down the stretch, it's going to be hell to pay for this league into the playoffs because if you protect him, he will shred you. At 44, he is still highly capable with plenty enough arm strength. There's no declining arm talent there. In fact, to me, his arm looks stronger than ever at age 44. So the problem has been most of the year, the defense has been suspect at best because they all came back. They all took their hometown discounts. But what did the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe continue to preach to me? It doesn't matter because it's hard to bring it back to a boil because you say, let's go run it back. And then you don't run because you don't run as hard as you did a year ago. And you don't play as hard and you don't try as hard. And all of a sudden you're saying, wait a second, we're just kind of going through the same motions, but it's not happening. Last night, I started to see it happen because they're only ranked going into that game 11th in points allowed, which is, it's not terrible, but it's not who they were.
It's on the verge of top 10, which you can win with that.
I'm going to predict that will start to fall. And I say by the end of the year, they'll be top 5 in points allowed because it just looked to me like things were starting to percolate because Sean Murphy Bunting came back. He's a talent, and he can play slot corner, he can play corner. And if they get Carlton Davis back, who is their best corner, and if they get Richard Sherman back, which I think they will pretty soon, to give them some veteran quarterback sort of presence on defense, all of a sudden, I start to like that secondary because Antoine Winfield Jr. can flat out play.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
He's in the middle of it. He is a Pro Bowl safety to me. And every time I look up, Mike Edwards is catching another football. He's picking off another ball because he's a playmaker, and he's one of those hybrids. You can play him at corner. You can play him all over the defensive backfield. So if you start to get healthy, I start to say, wait a second, this works. And the big story, I know you don't turn the sound up, but the ESPN had the good story last night that Vita Vea went for his x-ray and cried like a baby when they told him he was going to be okay, because I thought he was gone for the year. You did too, right? And they're saying he could have played last night, but they're going to hold him out for one more week because now you got to go up and take on the guy you said might just be the front runner for MVP.
And they got a very good offensive line. They got a very good offensive line.
Okay, so this is going to be strength on strength because I think the ultimate run stopper, Vita Vea, will be back in the middle of that line.
I want to see Vita Vea and Quentin Nelson.
It will be sumo wrestling at its finest, right?
It'll be some good. It's gonna be
okay. And what did I see happen on offense last night? I did not like the interception. Sometimes Mike Evans just loses his concentration. If we could see that real quick, it was just I don't know. I certainly can't blame this one on Brady. But Mike Evans got a little confused for a second.
It looked like 18 got confused.
Tyler Johnson's like he thought the ball was for him. I don't know. And Mike Evans got a little distracted by Tyler Johnson. But
it came out of Brady's hand funny, Skip. If you see it, the ball is
wobbly. But it hit Mike right in the hands. I don't know. You got to catch that.
I don't know if he had a good grip on the ball because it looked like it came. But I think he thought Tyler Johnson was like.
Okay, so I didn't love that. But then I started to love what I saw from number 87 because he was back last night from his cracked ribs. Gronk is just the security blanket for Brady. He just trusts him. He'll throw him balls in tight windows. I say, ooh, look out, man. That's interceptable. Yeah. And 87 catches it because they have rapport. They have wavelength.
One thing is now, Skip, is that Gronk can't run like he once could. You see that he labors running. But if you give Brady that kind of time...
Could you see that one throw to Gronk? And I know it took time for it to evolve, but that deep over, he waited, and Gronk runs all the way over to the one little gap in the zone.
Because Gronk starts out on the far. Look what Gronk is. Gronk is the inside edge of the numbers.
It's a deep over, man. It's all the way across, and he had to let him go across, and then he trusted that he would find the soft spot. And he took a shot. You know, he seemed to be running into and over people all night long. I hope his ribs are okay. But if they get AB back, who is his second favorite receiver, right now he's doing it with guys that he doesn't love throwing to, but he loves throwing it to Gronk and AB. And then
he loves throwing it to Mike Evans in the red zone.
Okay, well, he does do that. but again, he had 4 players catch 6 balls apiece, including he loves playoff Lenny. He loves to dump it to him.
He's turned him into basically a scat back. He does more. He catches the ball more so than he runs. But the thing is, Skip, I think the thing is that if you give him that kind of time, the thing is that, look, we know what the Colts, Skip, they're a shell team, but they can generate immense pressure with 4 playing that cover 2, and they don't come out of it.
Okay, well, here we go. This is another clash of the Titans, because I love this, because Jonathan Taylor against that front, because remember, what does that front do best? You just can't run on that front, right?
I think they gave up 100 yards with it to the. It might have been to the Washington football team.
They did.
I think they gave up 100 yards with the first time in a long time. But it's gonna be strength on strength.
No mercy.
While the attention was on LeBron getting ejected, Carmelo Anthony stepped up to help the Lakers in their come-from-behind win versus the Pistons. Melo poured in 18 points and was praised heavily by head coach Frank Vogel, who added that the reaction to the incident is, quote, one of those things that can change the momentum of your season. So, Shannon, do you think LeBron versus Isaiah Stewart turned around the Lakers season?
No, I just think they played better Sunday. We're going to see if it changes the whole season. That remains to be seen. But Skip, all of a sudden, they decided to say, you know what, let's play some defense here. Let's stop turning the basketball over, and let's just see what happens. And that's what happened. I noticed Russ would pass the ball to AD. Instead of standing around on the perimeter, he cut to the basket. AD dropping off to it. He got a couple of easy bunnies. I saw Carmelo, who was the first 6 or 7 games, Skip, he was outstanding. The last 5 or 6 games, he was struggling. I saw him knock down shots. Now, you telling me Dwight Howard went 2 of 2 from 3 in a crucial ball game? Are you telling me Dwight Howard is going to shoot 100% from the 3-point line? Well, okay, I would say, you know what? It changed the season around. All I'm going to look at is like this, Skip. What happened is that Melo pulled the team together and says, look, we can win this ball game. We understand we lost our brother. Let's go out here and play hard, play better. Let's see what happens. If they're going to play defense like they played in the fourth quarter, they're going to move the ball and have some semblance of an offense in the fourth quarter. Yeah, this can be something positive, but I'm not sure it's going to be the rallying cry, Skip, that changes the entirety of the season. Season's still too long. You still got 63 games to go.
Yet all I hear is rallying cry. Right. I hear it from Frank Vogel, who maybe he's about to be on the hot seat. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to save his job, saying that could create the momentum that we needed. Even Carmelo yesterday, the interview he did with the reporters, we needed something like that to jumpstart us. Well, don't you feel any shame that the incident in question that jump-started you was a cheap shot from your best player? LeBron James, the face of the league. He got suspended a game because it was clearly a dirty play. So don't you feel some shame about that? Don't you feel like we're above having to reach for that as some phony baloney inspiration to restart our season?
Hey. So what was smashing the watermelon and monkey butt spray?
Well, I told you, I was embarrassed by it.
Well, hey, sometimes teams grasp for anything that you think you can hang on to that's going to give you traction and get you moving in a positive direction.
Well, has it come to that for your Los Angeles Lakers?
Skip, I tweeted
that they were in danger of falling to 8-10 by losing at Detroit?
Skip, I said, I know it's only Detroit, and they're not very good. But this was the Lakers' most impressive win, and that's what it's come to. When you're the Lakers, and this team has been assembled to get to and compete and win a title, and you're gained inspiration, you're like, wow, we beat Detroit on a Sunday afternoon. Yes, Skip, thus far, early in the season, this is what our season has been.
Okay, and I remind everybody, the Pistons were 4-11 coming into that game. And that included wins against an Orlando that was 1-6 at the time and a Houston team that was 1-10 when they were beaten by the Pistons.
Right.
So can you really reach for that game as the turning point of your season? Because once they hit the dagger shot, the Russ AD dunk shot, well, then they celebrated like it was Game 7 of the finals.
No, didn't nobody celebrate. Skip, I mean, you're happy for a win. You were struggling. I mean, shouldn't you value wins? I'm not saying you get out there and start breakdancing, but you should be excited. You put a lot of hard work. You were down 15. Something happened. One of your best players got ejected from the game, and somehow you found a way to stay together and win the ball game. You should be happy with that.
We haven't been tested, said Carmelo, like that all season. We haven't been tested like that. You've been getting your butts kicked. You've been losing games, overtime games. That's a test, right?
Well, Skip, I think he's looking at it from the standpoint of what transpired.
Yeah.
We almost had to come to blows. We lose one of our best players, and this is what we were forced with. We were forced to go it alone in a situation that we were losing by, 15 points at the time? And somehow we had to dig down and find a way to win this ball game. Yeah, Skip, I get it. It's Detroit. I get it. It's a Sunday afternoon in November. But this is what it's come to for the Lakers.
Thank you. Well said.
Yeah.
Case closed.
What?
Next question.
That's what it is. I mean, that's what it's come to.
Well, let's keep it going.
No mercy.
Well, the Lakers will visit Madison Square Garden to play the Knicks tonight, but LeBron won't be playing as he serves his one-game suspension for elbowing Isaiah Stewart in the Pistons game. So, Shannon, who wins tonight?
I'm going to take the Knicks. Fox Bet has the spread at 4.5. I'm going to take the Knicks. I'm going to take the Knicks in 2. So I'll give you 2 points.
You'll give me 2 points?
Yep. I'll give you 2 points. You take the Lakers. I got the Knicks.
You got the Knicks?
Yeah.
I thought they just turned their season around, the Lakers. They found themselves.
That's what they said. I didn't say that.
Okay. You realize the Knicks are 9-8 and they've lost 4 of their last 5.
What's the Lakers? You make it seem like the record. The Lakers got the Warriors record.
Okay, so you're going to give me the Lakers with the points. Well, it's like 5.5 now.
And 5.5 is 4.5. It's 4.5. Skip, stop trying to cheat.
Some betting sites have it at 5.5.
No, ain't no some. Not Skip Bayless betting site. I ain't going by that one.
Okay, give me 3 in the Lakers.
Okay.
3 in the Lakers for one case.
Okay.
Thank you. I like that.
Okay.
Well,
I saw you coming.
Well, wait a second. You said that they were going to win at Boston on Friday night. I said, God, really? I'll take that.
I told you I'm gonna get Skip. This is how I'm gonna do it. I finally realized I can't bet you 3-4 cases at a time. I'm gonna get my due back case by case.
Really?
The Cowboys and the Lakers are gonna get me my cases back case by case. Just like you build a foundation brick by brick, I'm gonna do it just like that. That's how I'm gonna do you.
So I got Lakers +3. Go, Russ, go.
Oh,
I love me some Russell Westbrook.
Okay. See, now you done jinxed it.
He's going to be Brook by tomorrow.
But guess what?
Yeah.
I might get some due back on Thursday.
Really? What's Thursday?
You know what happened Thursday?
I don't know.
There's a little game going on.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Oh, Derek Carr.
Okay, you can have Derek
I might get that car and take off.
Yeah. All right.
See what your guy gonna do.
Good luck.
Do we know what the total due count is between you guys right now?
I'm down a little bit right now, Alex. I'm down a little bit.
150 cases.
You're on my 30 cases.
Guys, today, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern. Don't go anywhere. The Herd starts right